giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We back. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda and Hyundai, and Worth the Board. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Oh yeah, it's Monday, and the rumor mill was on fire this weekend. It was on fire. Starting at the end of Friday's show, so we'll touch on all of that, of course. Right, Cooper, you got D-Law, you got Schultz, you got Gallup, all that stuff. We'll touch on that in and out of the morning roundup. And also in the roundup, got to talk about my favorite prospect from this past weekend's combine. I think a lot of you know who it is already, right? In fact, that entire team just straight up killed the combine. So we'll talk about that in the roundup. And if you want to be heard, you can hit us up on the Pulse of the Nation hotline, 351-999-3787. That's 351-999-3787. There you go. I'm sitting here. Can't read my own dang on phone line. That's right. Go Dogs, man. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Yeah, y'all. It was a interesting weekend in regards to the rumor mill. And we'll touch on all that. We'll dive into it as we usually do. We'll get into the details and things like that. And I'll try to give you my quality take until all this stuff is figured out. So we'll get to that. But first, Cowboys Nation, before we dive into all that good stuff, let's give some shout-outs in the building. T-Mac, I see you. Professor O, the mod guy. What's up, man? Creative Genius, Tommy Robertson, Felipe. What's going on, Felipe? I am doing well. Fresh Fade in the building. David C, James Ruff. Dro the Gooner, Zeus C, I see you. Ready Red in the building. Knock Done. What's up, Knock? I'm just calling you Knock 305. What's up, Knock? Tom Downey burner account already. I'll get to your super chat in a second, Tom. I got you. Mr. Kima, Kevin K, TC915, Derek Fisher, Antoine Swain, Mark Canella, David C, Brandon C, Gregory. Y'all in the building this morning early. Y'all must be anxious to hear what I got to say about all this crap, huh? Bear25, who else over here on YouTube? Mark Canella, Frankie, Jonathan, JP, what's up? Over here on Facebook real quick, if I can get to you. Ruben Boyce, Robert Shook, D.A. Lee, C.J. Richards, Shelly B, Jason T, Peter Rizzo, Mo, and Chuck P. Good morning, good people. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm fired up. What's up, Wayne? What's up, Rob? To talk about all of this, and I want to talk about it with y'all. So if you want to call in, you can. If not, it's all good. I have you guys in my chat here. The chat, let me see if I can bring it up. The fan chat box here. We'll talk and we'll work through this thing. Before I do that, though, I told you I was going to go see the Batman. Did anybody else check out the Batman? I once saw it. I'm going to be real. I'm going to give y'all my honest opinion. I'll try not to spoil it too much. I'm going to just say this. I nodded off like twice. I ain't going to hold you. I nodded off, man. And it's probably not because it was like a trash movie. I don't want to be disrespectful to it because I think it was true to Batman. Very goth-like. Gotham, right? But it was so dark, the whole entire damn movie. Like, DC is so drastically different from MCU, which I favor more. It's like WWF versus WCW, right? You pick one, right? And I'm a MCU guy. DC likes to go towards the darkness. They kind of went away from that with the Shazam movie. It was kind of dark, but it was a lot of fun too. But this one was pure dark, which is fine. But it was literally dark. The entire movie. A 3-hour movie that I want to see in the evening. Yeah, I nodded off, man. Nodded off a few times. It was very dry. I'm an action type guy. I thought the fight scenes were mid. I don't think it was all that great. People are really talking about the car chase scene. It was cool. But I just don't know that they did Batman justice in that. And I am a Superman guy. If y'all can see my tattoo up here, I'm a Superman guy, but I follow it all. And the Batman movie to me was one of those movies where it was like a classic film noir. It took you back a little bit, detective type of thing. But I feel like this was more of an origin story. Am I wrong for those who are big time into Batman? This felt more origin like for a first film as opposed to, a film that had its characters already developed, which I totally understand. I think the second and third movies from the trilogy, I'd imagine it'll be a trilogy, will be much better than the first one. Now, what did I like, Scott? What did you like? I liked Penguin. I thought Penguin was dope. Colin Farrell was amazing in that. I hope he's the main antagonist in the next one. The Riddler was creepy. Catwoman, she was like Zoe Kravitz killed it, but they could have did her a little bit better. I did not like the Bruce Wayne part of Batman. I did not like the fact that you didn't see a lot of his tech. Like, Batman's supposed to have the most amazing tech in the universe. And it was, where was it? So to me, if what I recommend to go see it, I would not. I would say wait for it to come out. So that's where I'm at with it, y'all. I'll look into the chat, see how y'all felt. If I have to give it a 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 6. That's a 6. I might be being generous there, to be honest with you. Yeah, people were saying D.A. Lee, The Dark Knight's just hand downs, but there were people I saw on Twitter saying this was better than The Dark. Fam, it's not touching The Dark Knight like, on any capacity. It's not touching it. Brandon said, getting a trilogy, Mr. Freeze may be next. I am very interested to see Mr. Freeze. Now, y'all, a lot of us grew up watching the Batman and Robin movie. We understand that it wasn't a good movie. But it was very cartoonish, and Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm pretty damn sure it's not going to be like that. So I'm interested to see how it goes. How would I rank Patterson's performance as Batman? He wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad Batman. Again, I wanted to see more tech. His hand-to-hand combat was pretty decent. I'll give him that. But I wasn't overly impressed. That's all. Wasn't overly impressed, y'all. Sadiqa said, my son said it was a waste of money. My lady said the same thing. She was like, this is... Dro said the movie was too long. I nodded off. I did, too. I nodded off about 2 or 3 times in that movie. And my lady was just laughing at me. But all right, let's get enough of Batman talk. Let's get into Cowboys news on the roundup.
Look at them, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time!
It's time!
It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. Spring is coming along. Summer's almost here. Right? You want to look good for when that heat breaks out. So make sure y'all hit up Texas Family Fitness at any of the 9 locations or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com for more information. All right, let's start off with the combine. A little bit of combine stuff there. As you guys can see, I'm a little biased at this damn point. But this was a fun combine in a way. Maybe it's because, there was fans there. We haven't really, it's been about a year or two, I think about 2 years since you had a normal type combine. Maybe it was the NFL cheating on their ticker, their 40 ticker. But nonetheless, these guys came to perform. And I thought the Georgia defense just went berserk. And in honesty, the Georgia team in general. But Jordan Davis, my goodness. listen, I don't know that combine should like soar you all the way up into a top 10 or top 5 or anything like that. And I'm exaggerating here, but because the tape should tell it all, right? The combine just allows you to see their athleticism that you may or may have not seen on tape, or confirms what you saw on tape. Jordan Davis, my man ran a 4.78 at 6'6", 340 plus pounds. That doesn't make any sense. Not only that, he had a 10'3" broad jump and a 32-inch vert. The dude had one of the greatest performances at the combine, pound for pound, ever. Not to be outdone, Devontae Wyatt had a great combine as well. Trayvon Walker, right? Channing Tindall. George Pickens earlier, we talked about the wide receivers on Friday. I mean, the Georgia players definitely made, stake their claim as you better draft me in the first or second round. And you're going to get a good one. But I couldn't stop rapping. I mean, this is no joke. We're at the movies waiting for the game to come on, the movie to start. And my lady has no idea what the hell a combine is. She don't know what's going on, but I needed to talk about what this mountain did. So I look over to her and I say, do you see this? Let me put this in layman's terms here. This man is so-and-so and so-and-so and ran a so-and-so and compared it to something that she can maybe, get a hold of. Because I was excited. Excited for him, but a little nervous that he ain't going to be there at 24 Cowboys Nation. Don't see it happening. Other standouts at the combine this past weekend, I think you had Troy Anderson, as somebody we talked about, linebacker out of Montana State. Ran a 4.41, 6'3", 243 pounds. Now, remember, we talked about Dan Quinn-style linebackers. He doesn't fit the mold, except he's ultra athletic. That is, if you're ultra athletic, that is the exception to the rule. Troy Anderson is the exception to the rule. I would love to have a Troy Anderson on my team. Where, that's the debate. We talked about Channing Tindall. He ran well, especially in the 40. Had a nice vert, too, and a good broad jump. Christian Harris, Alabama linebacker. I'm not always fans of Alabama linebackers for whatever reason. The translation to the NFL isn't the greatest, but he ran a hell of a 42. 6'2", 226, ran a 4.4, and had an 11-foot broad jump. So he showed his explosiveness. And then the pass rushers, my goodness, they ran well and showed their athleticism. Jermaine Johnson, Ajabo, Boye Mafe, Sam Williams out of Mississippi State ran a 4.46. And the cat from Virginia Tech ran a 4.39. Amari Barno, I believe. 4.39 at 6'4", 246. So these dudes are just getting, it seems like, more athletic each and every year. It was a fun combine, and we'll talk more about these prospects throughout the week. Tomorrow I may do my top 5 first round picks for the Cowboys. That's something I've been thinking about over the last 2 days, so stick around for that. All right, let's get to the Cowboys news, man. So tomorrow is the franchise tag deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern. And it looks like Orlando Brown is the first prime player to get the tag, and there's going to be a lot of them, I think, that will, because teams can't afford to let certain guys go. Chris Godwin, the Devontae Adams, Jesse Bates of the world. Would you put Dalton Schultz in that category? Because that's exactly what the Cowboys seem to be doing here. According to reports, again, this is all reports until things actually happen, Dalton Schultz is likely to be tagged, which would place an $11 million cap hold on the 2022 cap. Now, I personally think this is more so to get a long-term deal, because I don't think they want to keep that cap hit for 2022. But I guess the tag came down to whether you wanted to tag him or Gregory, and we talked about it. $20 million to Gregory on the tag, I just wouldn't do that. They're going to try to get a long-term deal worked out with him. $11 million you can absorb once you make other moves, but you're going to look to extend or not extend, get a long-term deal with Schultz. That's just giving you what that is, what that means. Would I do that? Absolutely not. We talked about it a bunch of times. I just would not do it. The tight end class looks pretty solid in the mid rounds. I can get you a Dalton Schultz role type of player, right? And I can sign me a veteran to kind of ease that young player along. Okay? So I'm not really for it, but according to reports on ESPN, Adam Schefter, he is a candidate. He is the Cowboys candidate. So we went from not getting a tag last week to possibly getting a tag this week. Also, let me make a correction from last week, Cowboys Nation. You know, I was asked last week about if the Cowboys would still have to pay Blake Jarwin if they cut him, even though he's injured. I believe B. Bird asked me this. I mistakenly said no because I didn't think he had an injury guarantee. Well, Todd Archer reported that he does have an injury guarantee, and while the Cowboys will gain some cap space by cutting Jarwin, it wouldn't be as much as if he were healthy. So I want to clarify that. You can cut Blake Jarwin, you'll get some cap, just not as much because of the injury. So that's where we're at with that one. And then finally, the biggest news, I guess, if you want to call it. Yeah, we'll say that. The biggest news coming out of the weekend happened last night. Multiple sources told Calvin Watkins that the Cowboys offered Demarcus Lawrence a pay cut and he declined, putting his future with the Cowboys in doubt. Brian Broaddus came out and said the pay cut was around $5 to $7 million, and he turned it down. Again, if you know me, if you know how I feel about players in the NFL, I'm always for the players getting their bread. So I don't blame Demarcus Lawrence for not taking that big of a pay cut, especially when just in 2020, you restructured my deal to make the cap hit $27 million this year. So you didn't have to do that. You did that. A lot of people are saying, is he worth $27 million? You're missing the point. The cap hit is 27 because of the restructures. It's not what he's being paid this year. Okay. And you can argue if he's even worth 20, whatever. That's your prerogative, right? I told you guys I'm in the business of collecting the best players I can possibly have if I can. And you can with one Demarcus Lawrence, and we'll get to Cooper in a second. Let's talk about what a cut would mean for Demarcus Lawrence. So a pre-June 1st cut gets the Cowboys about $8 million in cap savings, but $19 million as a dead cap hit in 2022. So I don't really see them doing that. That leads me to believe that this will be he'll be designated a post-June 1st cut, saving about $19 million on the cap this year, with an $8 million cap hit this year, as well as an $11 million cap hit in 2023. A lot of numbers we just threw out at you just now, but that's what I think is going to happen. And you can designate two guys post-June 1st designations, but the problem is the team is required to carry the player's full cap number until June 2nd, meaning the Cowboys will not get the maximum cap availability if they do get rid of Cooper and Demarcus Lawrence. And we'll get to Cooper in a second, Cowboys Nation. I want to stick with Demarcus Lawrence right now, and I'll get to the chat and see what you guys got to say. But the player's salary comes off the books at that time, June 2nd, unless it's guaranteed. So while these things are most likely to happen in regards to Demarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper, I think they do have to play some games with it. I don't think you can designate both of those guys post-June 1st cuts, because you don't get a chance to touch the $39 million cap saving. And in regards to Amari Cooper, pre-June is $16 million in cap you'll get, and post-June is $20. They'll probably elect to forego the $4 million so they can get that $16 million right now, because with the cut of Cooper and then a restructure of Dak, you're now under the cap. But y'all know my feelings on Demarcus Lawrence. I don't think this is a Crawford situation, a Sean Lee situation where their performances was just not, it just wasn't good anymore, right? It just wasn't good anymore. The games that Demarcus Lawrence played showed you he was still very much a top defensive end. My only concern with Demarcus Lawrence moving forward would be injury, but it would be something that I take the risk on. Something you're going to take risk, right? Every year you're going to take risk on contracts on players. He's one I take a risk on if I'm trying to win it all. If I'm trying to win it all, I want him back. But it looks like the end is near. When you go to a player and ask for a pay cut and they say no, it looks like it's a wrap. So that's where we're going to be at. There's likely going to be no tank here, which I got to say about that here. Good player, but not top in the league. I hear that a lot. Lauren says, my cuts are Anthony Brown and LVE. Well, LVE's can't cut him. He's not on the team. AB, that's one that's been talked about. Fresh said, why would D-Law take a pay cut? The team has shown that they can't manage extra money anyways. Yeah. Danny believes he won't get more than 12 to 14 at most with a one-year deal. I would imagine his agent knows the temperature of the market out there, and there are a lot of teams with a lot of money. 12 to 14, I would go on the higher end of that. I mean, 15 at the minimum, I think, is what he'll get out on the open market. Minimum. The fact that he got 20 was because the Cowboys did that to themselves. They could have signed him after the first year, and they tagged him twice, so that's on them. Yep, Tom Downey said you dragged your feet, waited to pay, then restructured the deal. Just absolutely shit management. That seems to be the Cowboys' MO. Play hardball, make them wait, overpay. Then in 2 years, complain about the fact that you had to overpay because you backed yourself in the corner to do so. Then we're going to blame the player. That's what they do. Another player that they're starting to blame, the spin campaign, or the smear is what they say, campaign is on full go, is with one Amari Cooper. Now, the smear started well before the article dropped about him not showing full effort against the 49ers, which, give me a damn break. I went back and watched the damn plays, okay? If that is what they want to hold their hat on with Amari Cooper in that game, the game where he was the only wide receiver to get busy, the only real touchdown drive, went to Amari. If that's what they're holding their hat on, this is beyond just cap. This is stubbornness. This is I want to be right. This is beyond the player. I'm sorry, beyond the player, I should say, because hell, it is cap. Beyond the player and his performance. They said that it was troubling, according to sources, his effort on the final drive of the 49er game. I promise y'all, go back and watch. There's nothing troubling about it. There's nothing troubling about it. With that said, what you need to do, if you can, is trade him, right? Like that has to be the move. The move with Amari Cooper is to trade him. And at this point, Cowboys Nation, I'm looking at anything I can get. Anything. I don't want to fall into cutting both Demarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper for nothing. And this is what the Cowboys tend to do. I asked this question on Twitter. When is the last time the Dallas Cowboys have got a real good haul, or just even a mid haul, on a player from a trade? They don't. It doesn't happen because they hold on to said player and then they release them or they don't re-sign them. Whereas we talked about this before with the Patriots because that's what they like to do, right? They want to say, we want to do things like the Patriots. Well, the Patriots get something in return 9 times out of 10. Something in return. You're going to get nothing. You traded a first-round pick, extended him or signed him, really. He hit free agency. He allowed the man to hit free agency, first of all. You signed him to the deal, and you're going to get rid of this man 3 seasons later for nothing. And there are people really acting like there's nothing wrong with that because he's not worth it. Worth is something that could be defined in different businesses a different way. How can I show my worth when what I do is relied upon others around me? I can't throw the ball to myself. I can't game plan to myself. I can't show you my worth unless you allow me to. So I think that's hilarious to me. He's not worth it. Okay. Anyway, let's take a listen to Ian Rapoport about the trade situation. I'm along the lines with Ian. Can pull it up here. Take a listen to Ian Rapoport on the trade. He was on Pat McAfee's show here.
I believe he's done with the Cowboys. I think they'll try to trade him before they release him, which I think makes some sense. Now, it's a big contract. It's $20 million. The Cowboys can get out from under it, so I do not believe that he'll be back next year, but I'm not so sure that it might take a minute. I think they will try to trade him, see what they can do, see if they can get some value for him before they ultimately decide to release him. There's no rush. Like, his contract doesn't become fully guaranteed until the 5th day of the league year, so they got plenty of time to see if they can swing a trade.
Are they floating this out there that they're going to cut him just to see if anybody will come make offers for a trade? This feels to be like recent history, the new move. Like, remember Rodney Hudson from the Raiders a couple years ago? He was cut, then he was traded to the Cardinals. Then it happened last offseason. I forget who it was. It was a veteran player who was cut. Then he was traded. Maybe Stephon. I'm not. No. I don't know.
Gilmore, yeah. Didn't he get cut? And then
It was Gilmore, yeah.
It feels like this is a new move. Is that what's happening here or no?
I don't think this is a move because it actually, I know people think that like you floated out there to force, to create a trade, but people knew, I think people knew Amari's days were sort of numbered. It doesn't help because if you really want Amari Cooper, you might say, you know what, if they're going to release him, we'll just wait.
Yep.
So once the news hits, they're going to release him. It actually makes trading him harder. It's better to do it kind of behind the scenes, kind of whispers and maybe you could theoretically fake that there's like a huge market and get a trade. So it actually doesn't help anyone to have this news out there. I'm sure Amari's not thrilled. I'm sure the Cowboys aren't thrilled. And the only people happy are the teams that, may have wanted to trade for him because the market gets depressed a little bit.
Yeah, and I always wondered how that was a good negotiation move because if you're going to cut it, why would you pick up a $20 million salary if you know you could potentially get him in the free market, which would happen if he was released?
I 100% agree with both of them towards the end of that back and forth there. If they wanted to trade him, they wouldn't talk about all this. This wouldn't be out there. And again, if this happened to be another organization that did make trades and got back quality assets for said player, then it wouldn't matter what they said because they have that relationship. They have that on their resume, right? That they can do this. They do this, but they don't. So I don't have confidence that they'll get anything back, but I'll ask you guys, what trade compensation would you want back for Amari Cooper? And while y'all think about that, I'm going to tell you about the ride of the week this week on A to Z Sports Dallas. But before that, what trade compensation would you want back for one Amari Cooper? This week's ride of the week is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe. Its price tag puts in reach of a broad range of buyers, but it still offers plenty of features that the modern family will find desirable, such as heated front seats, blind spot monitoring, heated exterior mirrors, XM satellite radio, and passive keyless entry with push to start. Okay, a lot of those things I thoroughly enjoy out of my Mazda, but this one here is the 2022 Honda Santa Fe. So if you want to know more about it, hit up freemanmazda.net and type in 2022 Honda Santa Fe for our ride of the week starting this week, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get back to the question at hand. What trade compensation would you want back for Amari Cooper? Mike Harris says 2 first-round picks. James wants Calvin Ridley in return. Fresh, a 2nd and 4th would satisfy me. Cowboy D says a 4th, at least a 2. I'm at the 2 as well. Realistically speaking, I don't see that happening. But I would love to get a 2nd-round pick for him. Must be a top 10 pick. Clumsy, that ain't happening. Professor O, a late 2nd. Chris wants J.C. Jackson. J.C., if I'm not mistaken, is a free agent. 2nd round. Sadiqa, you believe he's not going anywhere? Is that what I'm getting from that? You believe Cooper's staying? I'll take a 3rd if we can get it. A 24 and Coop to the Jets for 10. I'm not sure if you heard or seen the reports. It doesn't look like teams are looking to trade for Amari Cooper right now. Damn sure ain't going to trade a top 10 pick for Amari Cooper. So I don't see that happening. I know that Brian floated that out there like 2 weeks ago, I think, on the draft show, but that ain't happening. Who are the sources that floated this info out? I wonder. So we're looking at a lot of people want at the very least a 2nd. I think at the very least a 3rd. I would be happy to get a 3rd. I just don't really see that happening, y'all. I don't really see that happening. So let's get to the supposed root issue, which is not really a supposed. I think it is the root issue here. The whole he's not worth it thing. And I often bring up statistics, right? And sometimes stats really don't tell the whole story, but stats have context. And I think in this case, these are some stats that I believe need to be talked about when it comes to this man, because you can, on one hand, talk about his targets and on the other hand, acknowledge the system is the reason when these numbers back up his targets. So between 2019 and 2021, when Amari Cooper is targeted 8+ times, and I wanted to use 8+ because a lot of the top wide receivers get targeted 8 or more times in the games. And a lot of them really are 10, but I went with 8. He had 21 games in 3 seasons where he was targeted 8+ times, which is not a lot, by the way. Averaged 7 receptions, 93 yards per game, and total 12 touchdowns. That 93 yards per game would have been 4th in 2021. Okay? And to put the 21 games in perspective, Devontae Adams had 13 games in 2021, targeted 8+ times. DeAndre Hopkins, over 20 and 21, which was just a year and like 6 games, he had 17 games. Keenan Allen had 14 games in 21. Cooper Kupp had 15 games in 21. You mean to tell me if Amari Cooper was targeted 8+ times on a regular basis, he wouldn't put up similar numbers? You kidding me? In fact, let's take a look at when Amari Cooper was targeted 8+ times this year. Here we go. 4 times. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here are his numbers. 13 receptions, $139, 2 tutties. 5 for 55 in a dub. 8 for 122 in a touchdown, and 7 for 85 in a touchdown. Now, you tell me, when you look at those numbers, that then he's not worth it. And then complain about him not being this rah-rah dog Des Bryant type. I don't give a damn. Can you produce for me when we come to you? That's what he does. That's what he does. Now, remember what Stephen Jones said. And then remember these numbers. In fact, I'm not even going to try to make you guys remember what Stephen Jones said. I'm going to go ahead and play it. Let me pull it up here so you guys can hear his excuse. Come on now. The system don't want to work for me. Here's Stephen Jones on the whole system target thing.
Back to the decision ahead on Amari, his usage, not just production, but in terms of how often he was targeted, even when he was on the field, it was down. Mm-hmm. What do you make of his relative lack of involvement, especially for someone who's got the contract of a number 1 wide receiver?
I just think it's an offensive philosophy, and with when we had the skilled players that we had, between Kellen and Dak, I think there was a progression of where you threw the ball, and depending on how the defense played you, it would point the ball to, to certain places where, hey, if they're going to double over here and they're going to double over the top over here, then that's going to dictate that the ball goes here. So I think it's more of a system deal. It wasn't a thing where we just said, hey, we're not going to target Amari as much.
Is that the right
Based
system?
on the system, then does that make financial sense? You're not getting your investment dollars.
We go through all that. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get into individually this stuff, but yes, all that plays into how we invest.
That just bugs me. All that plays into how we invest. Now, this isn't a shocker, y'all, but I'm saying if you see the numbers in the film, and you know that when he's given these targets, he produces, wouldn't you think, all right, let me change the system as opposed to changing the player? That's how I look at it. But again, the moving on from Amari Cooper, I don't think is a shocker because it was built in the contract that this could happen, right? They didn't restructure it, things like that. It's more of a frustration to me. It's more of a frustration because I feel like we'll be right back here in a couple years. If I had confidence that they'd use this money to go get better at the position or go get better at another position, I might be okay with that. For all the get rid of all of our best players here, do you have confidence that they'll use the money to go get better in free agency? I don't. So, it comes off to me, guys, kind of corny what the front office is doing to some fans and a little bit shady. And what makes me question a move like this is, like I said, I feel like A, we'll be back here again. B, they don't know what the hell they want. And C, do they even have any idea what the hell they're doing? I was thinking about this. This is what a lot of people want to do, but when you really dive into it, we could be right back here in a few years. A lot of people want to say, let's bring back Lamb. Let's bring back Gallup, which we'll get to here in a second, y'all. Said Wilson, and go draft a wide receiver in round 1. I firmly believe if you do that, if you draft a wide receiver in round 1, you are pushing either 88 or 13 out the door in about 2 or 3 years, probably closer to 2. In fact, 88 is up for a contract extension after next year. So I don't even, as much as wide receiver gets pushed up the board, where they take it will be telling. Where they take the wide receiver will be telling moving forward. I promise you that. Let me get to some super chats I didn't get to here.
Super chat.
B Bird, appreciate you for the $5 donation. He says the Joneses are doing it again. Why the leaks? Just release them. The reason is that they're trying to sway public opinion. Smart fans know better. Absolutely. This is Joneses 101. No other team does stuff like this. Appreciate Tom Downey. I didn't get a chance
Super chat.
to get to your super chat earlier. He said, so let me get this straight. You're going to make this roster less talented, but expect the staff you retain to do more with less. What could go wrong? That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Felipe says, why cutting Coop, who is willing to block on run plays, and tagging a tight end who's reluctant to do the dirty job on those run plays? Let me just say this real quick about Dalton Schultz. I don't think he's a poor blocker, especially in a phone booth. I think he's okay. He's serviceable. I think where his blocking took a huge step back was in space. And in general, I think it took a step back. But I personally believe it's because, hey, I'm tight end number 1. I'm pass catcher guy. I came in run blocker guy, but I'm pass catcher guy now. And I think that kind of was beneath him a little bit. And I could just be talking, but I do think that. I do think that. All right. But speaking of Michael Gallup, lots of reports surrounded our guy Michael Gallup, Cowboys Nation, and said Wilson. But before we do that, let me talk about Worth the Pour. Worth the Pour is a family-owned and operated luxury liquor store with affordable prices. A wide variety of spirit and wine, beer samples that are available, making your drink choice very easy. And for the game day parties that won't end, they even offer liquor deliveries to all of Denton County. So if you are in Denton County, hit up Worth the Pour on their website or the app. If you're not in Denton County, give them a call, pass along your zip code, and they'll schedule a delivery if possible, or hit up said app to schedule your delivery today. That's Worth the Pour. Visit worththepour.com. So Michael Gallup, guys. It's come out that Gallup and the Cowboys are closing in on a long-term deal. I got to hit you with this one here. Because last week we kind of set this up, and really for a few weeks, but last week I brought it up. I said it's kind of feeling like they're going to get rid of Amari Cooper, bring back Michael Gallup. And I was thinking of maybe a 1 year, $8 million type of deal. I was thinking a prove it deal. You're coming off the ACL, whatever. But the rumors are, and this is the rumor mill, this isn't what it's supposed to be. It's looking like a long-term deal. Now, I won't talk about 5 years, $30 million that was floated as a rumor from my guy, and then I don't think it's that. I know a lot of people saw that on Twitter, and they're like, oh my God, if it's 5 years, $30 million, that's an amazing offer. It is. In fact, it's an offer that will probably get his agent fired, or get his agent won't have any more clients. That's a terrible deal for Michael Gallup. But it would not shock me if they offered him something like that, because that's what Dallas does. They find a crack in a kink in the armor. Are you hurt, guy? Can we take advantage of that? They did it multiple times over the years. They did it with Barry Church, right? So they'll try to find a crack, and the crack is, well, Gallup, you're hurt. You're not going to get this on the open market. And again, I'm not saying that is the deal. That is what was rumored by certain people. However, PFF projects Michael Gallup's deal to look like this: 4 years, $55 million, $33 million guaranteed. I just think that kind of deal is so unnecessary. And listen, Gallup, get your bag. I'm separating the two. Player, get your bag. As for the team, why? When I have Amari Cooper on my damn roster, why would I swap out a highly paid wide receiver to bring in another highly paid wide receiver, as well as pay one Cedric Wilson? I question their process there, y'all. And I'm being nice. I question their process. Even the 4-year deal that PFF projects, I think might be incorrect on the years, because we heard Stephen Jones come out and say, I'm looking to sign 5-year deals. And because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do that. And we got snuffed essentially with Dak Prescott having to go with the 4-year deal. Don't blame the pandemic, bruh. Yeah, I had an opportunity to extend him before that. But they want 5 years. So if they are looking for a long-term deal, it could look like 5 years for Michael Gallup. But remember this, Cowboys Nation. Michael Gallup just had ACL surgery in February. Now, later today, I'll be doing an interview with our doc from OSMI, and I'm going to ask him about that. Is it ideal for a player off a torn ACL, even with this new modern medicine, to be back in 7 or 8 months? I see Pup list in his future. What you guys are saying in this chat box here. Shook said, I've been questioning their decision making since Jimmy. Yeah. I did see a super chat. Let me get to that, B-Bird. I believe it was you. I don't want to miss that one there.
Super chat.
He says, thank you for the $5 donation, brother. He says, if Stephen Jones had 3 years to build a Super Bowl contender, he'd keep Cooper and D-Law because his job would depend on it. The problem is he's forever contract. So that goes along the same lines of what we said, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. There's no pressure. If there was pressure, there's not a chance in hell you're looking to get rid of 2 of your best players. If there was pressure, you'd be trying to build on top. Instead, he's trying to maintain. So you're absolutely right, B-Bird. There's no pressure. See, that is so disingenuous. Coop is lazy as F. Wow. Wow. See, that's what sucks about being on a team like this, is that because you're not a Dez Bryant or a Michael Irvin, you're perceived as a guy who doesn't care or whatever. Let me ask you something. Does anybody ever talk about Michael Gallup if he cares or not? No. No one talks about Michael Gallup if he cares or not. But y'all talking about, well, his demeanor or what about it? He goes out there and he plays. He could be a diva wide receiver. He could absolutely be that and talk a lot of mess and complain and yell and scream and holler. But he doesn't. And don't give me, oh, well, he gives up or he quits. Does he? Do y'all recall him being on that sideline? I don't got the gun with me. And hitting his quad with the gun and going back out there, then coming back on the sideline and hitting his quad with the gun. But he quits. Do y'all recall? A lot of people forget. Amari Cooper played through cracked ribs at the beginning of the year. For multiple weeks, he played through cracked ribs. But he's a quitter. He lazy. How you lazy? So Amari Cooper just not out here in the offseason working on his routes. Clearly, if you watch the videos, that's what he does. I think these takes are just, I don't understand them. I don't understand them. Ain't about being in feelings. It's about your so give me cash. It's saying get out your feelings. It's not about being in your feelings. You're just dead wrong. Look, he ain't no Dez. Who gives a shit if he's not a Dez Bryant? That's the point. Who cares if he's not Dez Bryant? And that's the problem in Dallas. If you're not Dez Bryant, if you're not Michael Irvin, you're perceived as a guy who doesn't care. Again, I asked the question. Do you call Michael Gallup lazy? I can show you a ton of film where Michael Gallup is not getting the ball and he's not doing much. And that's normal in wide receiver. That's just what happens. You don't want to compare him with that. I don't care if he's Dez Bryant or not. What I do know is that he performs on this team when targeted. He performs on this team when targeted. He performs on this team when targeted. That's the point. Now, would I care if they went and got a replacement level guy, a guy that's just as good as Amari, or if they think that Lamb is the guy in house, or they use that money to go get another guy, another position? Whatever. It is what it is. I don't trust the front office to do so. I don't trust the front office to do so. They're dead. They're staring at you, dead in your face. Get this man the ball, he will perform. It's that simple. Now, if you don't, if this is what you want to do, right? This is what you said, Stephen Jones. Oh, well, it's the system. You know, it's a progression thing. It's what you said, Kellen Moore. We don't want to target one receiver too much here. We don't really want to focus on a guy. Okay. If that's the case, don't pay another wide receiver. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just continue to swap them out. Right? Treat them like, I would say treat them like running backs, but you're an idiot. Franchise that pays you running back $90 million. I mean, so I don't know if I want to say treat them like running backs. Most smart franchises do, swap out that position. But if you think this is the end, CeeDee Lamb, get ready. Because you're about to be demonized. CeeDee Lamb's not going to get 160 targets, 170 targets, 180 targets. And when it's time to pay CeeDee Lamb, they're going to say, you know what? This and that about CeeDee Lamb, the system is, I don't know if he's worth $25 million, because by that time it's probably going to be roughly $25 million or whatever it is. So get ready. Get ready. CEO Dune says, y'all crazy. Coop's skill is better than Dez. Dez was a one-trick pony. That's why he was let go. I mean, he's more skilled, but they're different players. That's why I don't care about comparing them. They're different players that do different things very well. Oh, I had a somebody, and I think this is what Give Me Cash is saying here. He's nowhere near those three. Cooper Kupp, really? Because somebody told me, and Keenan Allen, he's nowhere near. You freaking kidding me? Oh wow. Somebody told me he's not Cooper Kupp. Only difference in Cooper Kupp and Amari Cooper is targets. That's it. One is targeted a ton more. The other is not. Well, I don't understand why y'all think this man is just boo-boo. Y'all crazy. Manny says, having Zeke get the majority of the touches over Pollard when it's obvious who's a better running back. I'm just going to say this. He was a more healthy guy. Tom says, Sky, if you're Lamb, why would you honestly stay? That's another thing nobody's talking about here. Why would I want to be a free agent and come to Dallas? It's never going to happen, though, right? Like, they're not going to sign big-time free agents under Steven. That just seems not to be the case. But even if so, why would I want to do that when you're likely to get rid of me due to said system? So, I'm good. And like you said, Tom, I don't know. Maybe he loves it here in Dallas in regards to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe he holds them. He wins the contract negotiations like Amari Cooper did, like Dak did, like Zeke did, like Dez did, like I won't say Jalen, but Demarcus Lawrence did. All the guys that held out in a sense, not necessarily held out, but you know what I mean. Put the pressure on them. Maybe he wins a contract and he says, "I don't care. I'm getting $100 million." Michael H. believes CD's production is about to drop. Frederick says the play calling. That is most. Here's the thing. The quarterback and the play calling are more to do with his target rate than himself. That's why you hear them talking about, well, he wasn't giving his best effort against the 49ers on the final drive. Because you can't talk about his actual skill set. His skill set is top tier. I know, Jeremy. I'm wild. I'm tripping about this too. Y'all really think? Now listen, I will give you Adams and Hopkins, even though I watch Adams. Now Hopkins I think he's different, but Adams. I love Devontae Adams, bro. I really, really do. But y'all acting like this man Randy Moss again. Targets and quarterback, they will obviously elevate your numbers. But if we're talking about skill for skill, Amari Cooper is one of the most skilled wide receivers in this league. And don't you dare tell me that Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp are better, because he's not. They're not. They're just targeted more. Joe, appreciate the $9.99 donation. He says,
Super chat.
Somebody please show me Dez Super Bowl rings. I'm tired of hearing about Dez and what Dez heads say he did back in the gap. Dez is the greatest 88 that never was. Oh, I'm not going to crap on Dez now. I mean, Dez was a beast. Dez was a beast. I'm not going to crap on him. But yeah, I guess he gets held to a higher, and that's what Cowboys fans, we do that. We tend to hold guys to a higher standard, not higher standard, on a pedestal. And I love Dez. He was one of my favorite players, probably was my favorite player in the NFL at the time because of his passion, right? I play like that in all sports. But I'm also not stupid. You don't have to be that kind of a player to be one of the best in the league. You don't have to be the rah-rah guy to be one of the best in the league. Jay says, if Amari Cooper was targeted like Kupp and Adams, we'd be singing a whole different tune. 100%. I mean, isn't that obvious? You would think that'd be obvious to most fans, but they fall in line with the company line. They're just eating it up. That's all right. We're going to be right back here in a few years. That's what blows my mind. The fact that people get behind what this front office is doing as if what they're doing works. It'd be one thing if we had some proof in the pudding of their decision making, their contracts, and all that stuff working. You don't have that. So no, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. No. Nah, T-Mac, I think he was saying Dez is the best 88 that never was. That's what he's saying, T-Mac. I think we all agree that Irvin was the greatest 88. It's more of a dig at him than it is saying that he's the best. Facts, they sabotaged him for the game plan after the bye week, making him run BS routes that make him non-factor decoy wide receiver. Why else? I'm just saying, target him like the rest, and you don't have a problem, man. I think that's fairly simple, right? Yeah, it's all good, T-Mac. I'll get to you on. Give me a second, Nacho. I'll get to you in a second, brother. I'll get to you in a second. I want to get through these chats real quick. TC915 says it's the restructuring that kills it every year. We're up against the cap every damn year because they don't know how to manage these contracts and the cap. Again, you can make this thing jump. Here's what I would do. How about for a chance, go all in for a 2 to 3 year run, most likely 2 if you really push everything, and see what happens. If it doesn't work, blow it the hell up. Because this sitting in the middle crap ain't working. But we talk this every year. Every year we say, oh, well, if they just add this one free agent, or they just spend a little bit, or if they just go all in a little bit, it doesn't happen. Steven comes out well before free agency and says, we ain't doing that. We're not going to go sign a top tier free agent. Not happening. He literally said we're going to try to get value out of these 1 year deals. And when the 1 year deals play well, like a J-Ron Curse, etc., now you have to think about, damn, do I tag him? Can I extend him? Now I have to compete on the open market. Now, I don't know how 1 year deals work in mid-season, but a guy like J-Ron, I would have been trying to come to his ass in November. Like, hey, man, you think we can get you to sign a friendly deal right now? I wouldn't say friendly, but you think we can get you to sign an extension right now? I don't want to have to compete with you on the open market. Randy or whomever else you intend, Dalton, if you intend on bringing certain guys back, try to get them before the season ends. But I get that's not the main goal. The main goal is to try to win week to week. But the main goal for the money guy should be that. Yeah, Blue Star, I mean, Dak's part of it too. Dak is part of the problem. In regards to the targets, I'm not saying he is the problem, but when it's coming down from the top, this is not what we're going to do. Let's just be real. I said it before, man. Dak Prescott is not a guy that's going to, ruffle feathers. He's going to do what he's told. And we need a little bit more. Do I got it? In this system. We need a little bit more of it. All right, Nacho, what you got for us, man?
Hey, Sky, how's it going there, bud?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Real good, real good. Yeah, very interesting. I am puzzled as a fan. When you have a roster that is ready to win, ready to compete, and now you're going to make some very decisive decisions that will I'm not going to say either. It will impact the football team and what it looks like this year into next year. If we want to get rid of impact players like Amari Cooper and go ahead and spread the money elsewhere and try to save money, Demarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper are impact players.
100.
And if we're going to go away from them, and I understand it's a business, and I understand it's that they put themselves in that hole, and now it's one of those where it's a really, really iffy situation going forward. We really have to ask ourselves: do we want to save more money to be able to be more frugal going forward and have less of a talented football team? Or do we want to find a way to make sure that we do keep, the main core impact players?
Well, it sounds like the former, brother. It sounds like they're willing to let go of said talented players to be frugal, to talk pie and all this other crap that they're gonna spew at you. Now, this isn't to say, right, that this team can't compete next year without those dudes. That's not the point. I'm speaking from my view. My view is I want all the talent I can get that I can have. and they can have D-Law, they can have Amari Cooper on this team, and I want to build on top of that. Make no mistake about it. No matter how you feel about Coop, you're lying to yourself. No matter how you feel about D-Law, you're lying to yourself. If you say, remove Coop, remove D-Law, right at this second, the team is better. Bring back Gallup, bring back Said, they're better. That's a lie. From a talent to talent standpoint, that is a lie. Does that mean they can't get it done? No. I'm just saying from a talent standpoint, they're not a better team. Now, they can go sign a Von Miller, or whomever. They can go sign a wide receiver, draft a wide receiver, and hope to get by with that group. But as it stands, they would not be a better team, which to me, I'm trying to build on top of a quality team I had. Now, let me say this, Nacho, before I let you go. If I knew, right, if I'm the Cowboys, if I knew that Coop was going to be gone and Demarcus Lawrence is going to be gone, there's a potential. There's no guarantee you get back Randy either. And I was going to tag a Dalton Schultz or whatever, I think I would have tried to go more of an all-in approach in 2021, mid-season. Go try to sign an impact free agent if they get cut, I'm not saying Odell, but if a guy like Odell. Maybe you trade for a guy, and I'm not saying Von Miller, but if there's a guy on the market I could trade for, you try to do it to get over the hump that year. Because if you knew going into the offseason this year, we're not bringing back a lot of these guys, and we're going to get rid of 2 of our top 6 players, then I'm just going to try to win the whole damn thing right now. So, I know it's hindsight thinking, but again, I'm trying to put myself in the front office's mental. And you had to believe that they knew they weren't bringing back Amari and Demarcus Lawrence and the potential of losing to Randy Gregory and Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, I'm going to sit back, and I think most of us are, I don't think we have, obviously as a fan base, we're not going to have a choice but to sit back and see what they're going to do and how this is going to be. And I'm with you on the fact of, okay, if you're going to move the money and you're going to go get a Chandler Jones, a Von Miller, okay, and then blend in with what you have and kind of go a different route and continue to draft and get some of the great players in the draft, okay, maybe we can live with that. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to ask themselves, right? Are you going to go to war with a second tier or third tier player compared to getting a first tier player if you want to win a championship? So that'll be the big one. And then second of all, and I'll leave you with this, I was excited to call in because I remember last week we talked about potential draft picks. And now that the scouting combine ended, I know you and I were talking about Davis, right, from Georgia.
My God.
What an outstanding performance.
Give me that man in the middle of the damn defense right now.
Oh, my. I tell you what, either Davis, and if Davis moved up, which he probably did.
Sure.
His teammate Wyatt would also be another. If we can get either of those 2 guys in our defense, man, I would be ecstatic. Thank you. Have a great day, my man.
Thanks, Nacho. Appreciate you. I have a hard time believing they'll mess up the draft because I trust Will. And I like where we sit in this draft, especially in the first round. But I think you're going to get quality guys in the top 100, especially the first 2. Excuse me. Oh, Nacho, you gone, brother. I'm sorry. I got you over here. Yeah. So I think they'll be fine in the draft. I don't question them a ton in the draft because they usually get guys that contribute and things like that. Now, of late, when I say of late, over this last half decade, they have hit in the first round, obviously, in the second round with Trayvon Diggs and Lamb. But between 2017 and 2018 drafts, they're not really signing anybody long term from those drafts. Which, whatever, it happens. You're not going to hit on every single draft. But I said it before, when you don't participate in free agency, you don't participate in the trade market, unfortunately, Cowboys, you're going to have to draft better. You got to draft better. There's not too many teams that solely win championships. Hell, even get to them, but solely win championships in the free agency era by just drafting. You can build your core, and you should build through the draft, but you can also build in free agency and build with the trade. You have to. If you look at the history of the championship teams, at least a couple guys were acquired via trade or free agency that helped them get over the hump. That is what free agency is for to me. It's designed nowadays to bring in guys that are ready right now to step in and perform at a high level, or if you got them to be a role player, to perform at that role at a high level. Whereas draftees can take a bit, right? I mean, you get your first round picks, second round picks, you would hope they come in right now and be established. Definitely first round pick. But let's just be real. Third, fourth round, where fifth, sixth, where most of your team is built, those guys are going to take a little bit. So use free agency to help you get over the hump, not vice versa. Chris is talking about Troy Anderson. He's one of my guys too that I would love to get. I think this linebacker, you can get a good linebacker after round 1 if you don't get one in the first round. You can get a good tight end in the top 100. Get a good offense. I think Dallas is sitting pretty. I don't really question. I don't have an issue with the draft unless they completely bomb it, and you don't know if they'll bomb it until they play. But I think there's going to be a lot of quality guys available for them to take. So I don't worry about that too much. Don't worry about that. James he said, I would love to see Dak go against the system and challenge the front office. That ain't gonna happen. But why do we expect him to do that when Tony never did it and he was like a son to them? Tony kind of, in the sense of he looked at Scott Linehan and was like, what? I'm gonna run my play, man. I'm gonna run my play. I don't think this is a hyperbole. I believe he came out and said it. I changed the play like 80% of the time. And then the next year when Dak came on, Scott Linehan came out and said, oh my God, I love this kid. He never changes the play. It's no joke. It's no joke. Never changes the play. That's what it is. We'll get to a couple more callers and then we'll wrap this thing up because we got that Doc interview I want to get to later so I can drop for y'all. What's up, Reek?
Yo, what's going on, Skywalker Still? Cowboy Nation, stand up. Yo, like, share, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all the best, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
One of the 5 horses. Y'all better respect the game out here. What I had to say was this, man. I'm getting so mad with them slandering Amari Cooper like this just to get him out of Dallas, man. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, the dude only been in what, 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
Well, I've been here for 4 seasons.
Yeah, man, and it's like, damn, at one time we need a wide receiver to help Dak out. We give him a first round draft pick to get him. Then you pay him because you don't want him to go to the competition. But now you don't give a damn because you're trying to save money. Yep. And then Demarcus Lawrence not trying to take a pay cut because he feels like he doesn't need to. So it's like, damn, why give up our superstars? Why give up our superstars when other teams is not going to be giving up a superstar? They're giving up declining superstars, but not superstars that are still capable.
Yeah, go.
I just don't get that.
Yeah, go look at. Go listen to the Rams right now. You don't hear anything coming out of the LA Rams camp saying, you know what, we don't want Von Miller back, or we're looking to trade, or you know what, I'm not trade, but we don't want Odell Beckham. They're actually talking about bringing those guys back. It's the exact opposite. Yeah. You know? And remember, y'all, well, the Rams, they're going to be terrible. They're going to be in cap hell and yada, yada, yada. I don't give a damn. Did it get me a ring? Did it get me to the Super Bowl? It did. But see, this front office spews all this stuff, and this fan base eats it up. Every year, they vilify guys, and they eat it up.
My whole thing is this. Not to cut you off, Scott. My whole thing is this. What makes Stephen Jones qualified to run the books? Okay, he got us out of cap hell. I get you for that. But you wasn't there when you wasn't making plans, or we didn't hear about your hands all the way in the pot when your dad was winning Super Bowls, man. So it's like where did we go wrong here? You know what I mean? It's like this dude making all these key decisions that affect us down the line. I don't think no Cowboy fan would care if we put all the chips in the damn middle to go win one, and we gotta rebuild this team for like 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Because we put all the chips in the middle to go get us one. I'm tired of this bullshit. But shoot, my friends, I don't mean to be cussing like this. No, cool. I'm tired of this BS with Stephen Jones behind talking about, we don't want the team to go down because we don't put all our assets to the middle of the table. That's the whole point of the damn game. It's to win. You don't do this shit for a fucking show. You do this shit to win, bro.
You know when Stephen Jones would be at the poker table, he'd be a fish, man. He'd be a fish he's a fish right now surrounded by sharks. That's what he would be. Man. Scared, little, easy to read. I play poker, so I love poker. I'd read Stephen Jones so damn easy, man. I could bluff him. That's what the players do all the time, too. You know what I mean? Go all in, he gets scared, I fold. And I ain't have nothing but do 7. Off suit. On the river. Anyway, go ahead.
Man, I just don't get this dude, man. He really putting this franchise in limbo by letting everybody get away. What's the whole point of giving up a first round draft pick to the Raiders just to let the man go? I just don't get that philosophy because it's like you invested into this man not once but twice. You know what I mean? And just because he's not one of the good old boys that y'all like on that team, the good quiet people that just follow rules and don't have no rebuttal or don't say anything back to y'all. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, man, Dez cannot be wrong. All these players cannot be wrong about what they're saying about this front office and that they're controlling what's going on the field. You know what I'm saying? And for us, you know, I feel bad for us as fans. Yeah, I feel bad for us as fans that we keep feeding into this bad product that they feeding us, man. It's like, damn, man, we love our Cowboys. It's like, damn, if y'all not gonna if y'all don't have the same love, just put the people in position to do your job, and y'all just sit back and watch the product unfold on the field, man. Stop robbing the fans of what we come here to see. That's all I'm saying, bro. Sure. Hey, man, that's all I had to say, Sky, this morning, man. Appreciate you, big bro. I'm gonna holler at you, Cowboy Nation. Let's stay positive. Let's stay up. But at the same time, we gotta voice our opinion about these things. Yeah. Just ain't right in Dallas, man. All right.
I appreciate you. One of the questions he asked was, what makes Stephen Jones qualified? The fact that he's daddy's boy. I mean, that's pretty much it. Now, I'm pretty sure he has like some law background or something like that. I don't know what he got a degree in and went to school in or whatever. But if you go look at the other teams that we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago in regards to general manager, because let's just be real, he is the real general manager. He has the say on who gets cut or what have you and who gets paid. When you go look at those guys, the Gudikins, right? The Eagles general manager, I forget, Howie Roseman's, Les Snead's, right? John Lynch's, all these other guys. I said this before. There's pressure on those dudes. There's pressure. And then for most of them, including the one in the Chiefs general manager, most of them had to work their way up to get there. Steven didn't have to work his way up. It was given to him. So, I mean, in a way, he's not qualified because he didn't show that he was capable of doing such and such and such and such. So, no, there is no qualifications besides him being Jerry Jones' son. I gotta wrap it through these ones. B Bird, what's up, man?
Hey, what's happening today, Scott? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
All right. So this is Stephen Jones' season, man. This is where he gets the camera, the mic, and everything in front of him. He lives for this, and you can just tell that he does because it brings up his importance to the organization. He lives for this off season, and so the limelight is something that he really wants and he gets at this point in time. But the OC said something the other day that really struck me, and it was really so true. I couldn't put it in better words. He said that Stephen Jones runs his team like an accountant rather than a football guy.
He does.
And that was just so true to me in what he said. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's what we talked about here when we said this is a business to him, right? Like he operates this as a business, and that's why you there's no separation. That's the problem. Usually there's a separation in most of these organizations. You have the businessmen, and then there's that layer where you have the football people. It all is one. And what
Yes.
in this business, what comes first, right? And in a business, any business, is money.
Yes.
It's money. And cap, I'm not saying cap is a direct correlation to the money that they make, but for Steven, he operates the cap as if it's a damn business, as opposed to football operations to win a championship. So, that's something that, we talk about a lot here, but I totally agree. He it's definitely operated in that manner. So I agree with OC.
And as we're talking this out, it makes more sense because what you're saying basically is, you'll have a business side and you have a football side, and then they'll kind of compromise on a stance, but you have no football personnel. You don't have
no football
side pushing back on the business side.
You said it perfectly. Pushing back, because a lot of people are going to tell you Will McClay. Will McClay ain't Listen, y'all, I love me some Will McClay. Really good football eye. All Will McClay can do is go pick out the groceries or the ingredients that Steven tells him to. That's all he can do. He can say, these are the type of players that you wanted. Here's the list of those guys. Pick them. He can't go above or beyond any of that because Steven won't sign those guys. He told him, and that's not what we're going to do. So while I love Will McClay, I don't think he has the pushback, like you said, authority to sign so-and-so.
And no, he doesn't, and that's why they love him for his football acumen, and they pay him well for that. And so, he's not in a position there where he's going to push back. He's just going to give them data, information about players, and then what his idea is. But he's not going to bang on the table or anything like that. They don't pay him for that. They pay him just for the information. And so that's what it is on that. They have no pushback from the football side. But one of the things, too, is that, Stephen Jones has a 20-year plan for this business, and it has nothing to do with football. And so when we got to look at it, you say, okay, so naturally we say that a general manager, president, these guys are in it to win the ultimate thing, win the Super Bowl. I think what Steven wants to do is continue to keep the Cowboys viable, keep them out there, being the most visible team, and just
Jerry,
keep this thing
sure.
rolling. I think that go on. Keep going on.
No, Jerry for sure wants that.
Yes. And the thing is I think I said this the other day, but, this is the only team that can draft a player and already be thinking about what they're going to do when his fifth year comes up. Because what I'm saying is they know they're going to be here. Other GMs, other people in the front office don't know if they're going to be there, so they're putting everything on this draft. We want to see this guy succeed. Our guys don't do that. They're already thinking about, okay, this guy's going to – they're thinking about Micah's contract at this point in time. Another GM not afforded the ability to do that because he only has three to 4 years to turn this thing around. So he wants to get everything out of Micah as he can. They're not thinking about drafting Micah's replacement, but the Joneses can because they don't have anything, no pressure on them. They're going to be there. Steven's going to be here.
He literally came out and said, yeah, we got to think about 2024 and 2025. What?
Yeah.
No general manager would say that because they can't afford to think 3 years down the road because they may not be there. There's no pressure for the present, B-Bird. There isn't.
Yeah.
All right,
and that's what's killing us, man.
Yeah, let me get to set it off real quick, man, because I gotta get going.
All right, I'll talk to you later, bro.
Appreciate you, B-Bird. Yeah. Set it off, Chris, man. What's good?
Hey, man. Listen, man. Reek and B-Bird, I'm going to get out your way quick. Took everything that I was going to say. I'm just listening. But the three things that we don't have, man, there is no pressure. There is no pressure whatsoever on this front office because there's no pushback from the fans. And because the fans won't stop looking, because we won't stop watching, because we won't stop purchasing, because we're in what me and you have talked about before, a truly abusive relationship, they can move the way they move.
Yeah.
They move the way they move in this situation because we won't turn them off. We won't leave them alone. We won't change the locks. We won't stop cooking for them because we love them so much. And for Demarcus Lawrence to come, for them to even think about before anything going to Demarcus Lawrence.
The audacity.
Good. Yeah. And and my man Stephen A would say the unmitigated goal. For them to turn around and for him to tell them, hey, I'm not even thinking about giving you a cut. It should have been, go to him first and say, hey, listen, we looking to trade you because we drafted your guy last year in the Chauncey Golston. And then we got the defensive, chess piece in Michael Parsons. You're the guy who need to be looking about where you get ready to go. Or they never came to Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I didn't ever said nothing to him. At any point in time, because as you noted, I know you said it, you gave up a first-round draft pick. You got him on a year and a half on his rookie deal. And now you got the guaranteed money out of the way. Yo, push him back a year. Restructure him a year. And then, like you said, the one thing we don't do at all, and I'm going to get out your way, we are never going to push our chips to the middle of the table. Because when we went 4-12, this fan base lost it. We can't do. Here's the crazy part, Scott. We were 4-12, we lost our minds. We went 12-5, and we still lost our minds. Because even trying to play all the way in, if we don't get to the NFC Championship or get to the Super Bowl, because my year was NFC Championship, I didn't think this defense was a year early, a year premature. But if we don't get to that point, we lose our minds. We're 12-5. Anybody else would have tweaked a few things. Go ahead.
It's because we know that the front office doesn't build on top of these type of things, right? And our history, our recent history has shown that if we don't take advantage of that said year, the following year never results in a winning season in the sense of playoffs and victories. It hasn't been done since 2006, 2007, where Dallas has went to back-to-back playoff spots. So, when you have a front office who isn't going to take that aggressive approach on top of a good season, all of your energy is exerted into, oh my God, we got to get it done right now because there may not be a tomorrow to do it. So when it happens the way it happened, you're like, oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So now you're just hoping and praying that we at least get back to the playoffs. That's the start because it hasn't happened in back-to-back years.
No, not the playoffs. Oh, not the playoffs. Let me get double-digit win seasons. Let's get back-to-back double-digit win seasons.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's get back to double-digit wins and then the playoffs and all that pie in the sky, all that good stuff that all these properly run, well-greased, all about wins franchises do.
Here's the one.
Go ahead.
Here's the one that killed me, set off, Chris. When everybody be like, well, Cowboys ain't going to do nothing as long as they got so-and-so at so-and-so. They ain't going to do nothing as long as this coach is that coach. Fam, they ain't done nothing for 26 goddamn years. Why do you think it's a player? I digress.
Hey, man. This is why we tune into you, man. This is why we listen to you. This is why we follow, man. That's why we hit the like button, man, for the passion, man. Because when the host is passionate, it makes all the sense in the world, man. Listen, bro, I'm going to get out your way. I'm going to listen tomorrow, man. Hey, man, look out for me and Frank. Hey, man, look out for me and Brandon on Frankie Football, man. We back in action, man. And we'll go from there, bro.
Yeah, shoot me your stuff, man, whenever you do. You got me on Twitter.
No doubt, man. We definitely do that, man. Be blessed, man. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you. Man, I gotta get going. I got Dr. Boothby coming on the show. It's a recording, so we'll drop it later today. Dr. Boothby, but very passionate today. Very passionate in the chat. I appreciate that. We don't always gotta agree. I told you that before. I appreciate y'all coming through. Jay said 27, damn near. 26, 27, whatever. I just do find that funny when they be like, well, Dallas is never going to because of so-and-so player. What's the meme? It's been 84 years, and we still think it's a player in Dallas. All right. Y'all keep falling for that if y'all want to. But yeah, so tune in later. We're going to talk about injuries, the doctor and I, and see where the real timetable is with Michael Gallup. See where Zeke and his torn PCL, if he'll be back fine. We'll talk a little bit about Dak's calf and the ankle situation, shoulder, all that good stuff, and try to get that to you. I'm excited to talk to him because I'm hoping we can build a relationship that carries on throughout the season. I really do. All right, man. Listen, I got to get going. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight with our guy Mauricio Rodriguez on A to Z Sports Prime Time, as well as A to Z Sports Dallas.com for all the latest and greatest with the articles. We have hired a couple new writers and editors, and they are doing a fantastic job. A fantastic job. Tomorrow we'll get more into the player aspect of things. Maybe combine. I would say some more free agent talk, but can we even really talk about free agents at this point when there's in-house situations we got to take care of? The Dalton Schultz, the J-Ron Curse, the Randy Gregory's. These guys sound like they'll be in the mix here, and you know, but we'll maybe talk about that as well. So y'all stay tuned for that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and press this button and get the heck on up out of here, man. Oh, and do or don't go see the Batman if you want, but report back to me and let me know what you think. Maybe I didn't have the right lenses on at the time. I don't know. Appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight if y'all can. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you want. And again, if you don't agree, it's all good. It's all love, man. Be out of here. Peace. One time for the one time. Y'all want to hear it? Cat boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? It's nice to hey.